first question that we often get is, can I take screenshots or videos, or can I record during my online class? Or can participants who are also online, whether they be adults or children, take photos? And then, that's kind of first step. But then the second step is, can then I then take those photos and actually use them to promote my business? So Eugene, can you kind of walk us through content-wise online? What is it that, instructors and teachers need to know?
Yeah, so this relates to the actual prior questions on releases. Actually, you can take videos and photos as long as it's used for an educational purpose. I would still have some kind of release and consent in a legal agreement. Now, if it's all taken or obtained through an online interface, such as your website, then your website needs to have a terms of use that says any user content, including photos or videos, can be used by, you consent basically as a user for the company to use it. And usually that general or unlimited release and consent is for educational informational purposes. A lot of teachers and instructors need to take videos and recordings to train their staff, right? To teach, to show how best practices or mistakes that were made in the teaching. So you can absolutely do that. I always recommend though, if you are doing it for social media or for commercial purposes, for promotional purposes, essentially, I always recommend you have a limited consent and release. And that goes beyond the general unlimited release that's in your terms of use or in your teaching services agreement. This will be basically a standalone individual consent and release to use your photograph and image or audiovisual files for promotional purposes. And you should list out what those promotional purposes are, because you have, and this is actually more of a business point, you don't want to have an angry customer a year down the road find out that their image was used and it was viral or was circulated, and now it's on the image of a cover of someone's band. First of all, if you didn't have a limited waiver or release, relying on that general one where you put it into like an agreement when the customer first signed up with you or first accessed your website doesn't cut it, because like I said earlier, these legal bubbles are fragile, and they're even more fragile for consumers. The law really looks at these participants as consumers, as retail consumers that need extra protections. And so if they didn't expect that consent and release, that general broad one, to apply to every single scenario, and it could be argued that they didn't expect it to be used for especially commercial purposes, they have rights, privacy rights. The second issue is actually relate to more intellectual property and copyrights. You may also get angry as a business owner that you spent all this money and it's now being used by other people to promote their own individual business that may also tarnish, or what if it's a heavy metal band that has lyrics that you don't condone? That used an image of one of your customers, you'd be really angry. So you actually want to trademark and copyright also some of these images if you spend a lot of money on it, or they're going to be used for a campaign that goes super viral and there's a lot of views.
So it sounds like there's two pieces of kind of paper that everyone needs to have, which is the waiver. And then if you're planning as an instructor to take video, record, or screenshots, a release that your students, your online and virtual students, agree to partake in that. And then if you're using something more commercial or advertising use, then that's almost a one-time release that focus specifically on that campaign so that you're covered for that.
Yes.